ground balancing, when and why you should do it and why you shouldn't do it, and then we'll go on to the more kind of quirky aspects of the Equinox with regards to iron, and determining what's iron, what to dig and what not to dig, and then it'll just be open questions, because I generally fix a lot of machines and fields with people touching the settings that they don't understand what they've done. Paul came to me there and he's got a very valid question which I've fixed many times in fields where people inadvertently notch out parts on the discrimination arc, and then they don't know how to actually put these back in, so they're wandering around the field with half the machine is discriminating all the good targets. So I mean, basically what we'll do is everybody initially we'll switch on the machine and then we'll all put our volumes down. So if you switch on your machine just now,
should we flicker and reset it?
No, just whatever you've got just now, it doesn't really matter. And then pressing the cog wheel, you're going on to the third setting with the wee speaker, and you're just turning that volume right down so we can't hear it at all. So you can put it down to 0, like that. It's just so we're not actually interfering and we're not hearing it. So just go into the third setting, press the cog wheel 3 times, the wee speaker, and put it down to 0. That's your volume control. And I tend to always have that up full at 25, and then if I need the volume turned down, I need the headphones, the Bluetooth headphones.
No, that's not volume. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That one, that's it.
After you've put it down to 0, just return into the detect screen by pressing your basically your target button here, and we'll run through everything. You want to come round there, Billy?
Aye.
Rather than me having to
Aye, that's true, aye, yeah.
do this. If I stand here, then everybody can see. Right, okay, so first of all, if we go back to the beginning, you've got noise cancel. Right, you should always noise cancel in a field. This is to eliminate EMI, and it will also eliminate interference from other manufacturers' machines and also other Equinoxes. And you should get into the habit of doing that fairly frequently, even in a machine, because it does quieten the Equinox down. It's a very sensitive piece of equipment, and so you know the less EMI you hear, the better, to be honest. To do that, you're pressing the accept and reject button, and you press that, and then you'll see the machine. It takes about 8 seconds to do that. That's your noise cancel. 8 seconds out your detecting day, a dozen times during the day is not going to make any. Accept and reject there. So you put it onto noise cancel, which is the first one, and then you press the accept and reject, which is the tick and the cross button.
So the very first
now, there's various things. You can hold this up. What I tend to do is, if it's a machine that I'm interfering with, I'll tend to point the Equinox at it and do my accept and reject, so I'm definitely targeting that machine. Whether it makes any difference or not, I don't know, but that's what I do. I'll also point it at power lines or anything else and swing it about and swing it in the ground, just anything to get the EMI away. So your next setting, if you press the cog wheel, again, is ground balance. Now this has had a lot of work done to it globally by the testers, and basically the 0 setting will do you for 90% of your detecting. If the field is mineralized up to 20%, you can just leave it at 0. It won't really affect it at all. But if you go on to the way to test, and I'll do it with my machine, don't everybody switch on the volume. Right, I'll put the volume back up so you can hear it, and I'll do my noise cancel again. And hopefully basically if you put it onto your ground balance and then you just pump it, I'm hardly getting any interference, you can't hear it. But see, if that's a heavily mineralized site, you'll get it go woo, 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 woo. And then what you're doing again is an auto ground balance, again the accept reject button. So when you're pumping it, you just press that, hold the accept and reject, pump your coil, and you can pump it quick, far, whatever it does to quieten it down. And when that humming goes away, that's you ground balanced, and you can see here it's ground balancing at 12, so it's not really essential to ground balance the machine at that.
Does it matter if there's anything underneath the coil at the time?
Yes, you make sure there's no iron or any other non-ferrous target, so you're looking for a clean bit of ground to do it. And essentially I see this scale as 100%, it's out of 100, so that coming up at 12 is telling me this ground is approximately, as a kind of working man's theory, it's 12% mineralised, so it's hardly mineralised at all, it's almost benign. I've been in some sites, especially Roman sites, where we've ground balanced and it's coming up at 78% mineralisation, so that's when you really do need to ground balance your Equinox. Because I feel it makes it more sensitive to good targets, but it also quietens it down, so you're not getting so much chatter and falsing off it, but only when the ground is extremely highly mineralised. I'll just go back on.
Derek, confirmation whether or not it's on the ground balance. If the icon's on, does that mean it's on?
Basically, if you ground balance it, right, if you go in there and that is reading anything apart from 0, then your machine is ground balanced.
You got the icon on the top right hand side.
Up here?
Yeah.
The tracking you're talking about, which is the little tracking icon. If you double press that, if everything goes into the ground balance screen just now, so you're getting the little detector, which is the second notch, and then you don't need to ground balance. Everybody should be reading 0, and what you've got to remember about ground balancing is very important. If you ground balance in one particular field and you switch the machine off and you leave it for 7 days and you're out the next Sunday and you go into a field, that will still remember your ground balance from the last time. What you can do is do an auto ground balance, or you just manually just take it like that. It's the only way to do it, back down to 0, factory 0, and that's it. Now, what Paul was talking about, if you're on your ground balance machine, if you click accept and reject, you'll see a little kind of squiggly line coming up there, which is tracking.
Yeah.
Right, it just appears up your top right. Everybody see that? Yeah. Now, tracking essentially is to help you. It's like an automatic no-brainer. You don't need to ground balance it again in the field. Personally, I don't use it because if you get the Equinox and you go over a target multiple times, as you do when you're trying to determine whether you're digging it like that, if you watch the tracking, if you put it onto your ground balance screen and you get tracking on and do that, you'll see it shooting right up. It then takes a considerable amount of time before it lowers back down again. So it's basically tracked to the ground and tracked to the target. That's why I don't use tracking, because every 10-15 minutes I'll spend 5 seconds re-ground balancing. I'll just put it onto the ground balance screen, pump the ground, make sure it's still quiet. If it's still quiet, I don't need to ground balance again. I just keep going. And it's only every 5 seconds. Whereas with the tracking, I personally, it's my personal opinion that you're never quite sure if that's working at its optimum performance, or whether it's tracked to a piece of highly mineralised ground or it's tracked to a target. So that's why I don't use tracking. So always make sure it's switched off, again just by pressing the accept and reject button. So then if we go into volume, it's dead easy, up and down. So you get maximum 25 and 0 is volume. I won't go into the, I'll go into the advanced settings just now. If you press the cog wheel, if you all do it, you'll get a wee line appearing under it, assuming you've got the 800. If you've got 600, I think you get the little line, but you can only alter the iron volume. Has anybody got a 600 here? Or are you all 800? All 800 is good. So you're in there, T1, assuming you're on 2-tone or you're on 50 tones, you'll get a choice of T1 and T2. You can change this by, again, the magical accept and reject button, the plus and minus, and that will change to T2. Now T2, because I'm on 2 tones, is your non-ferrous. You know, so I've got the volume of my non-ferrous just now at 25. And if I press the accept and reject button again, back into T1, you'll see I've got my iron volume at 1, because I just like to hear it. But if you want a quieter experience, you can put your iron volume to 0. And then I've felt you don't pick up as much ground noise, and you certainly, it cuts down in the amount of falsing. you actually get. It makes it slightly more difficult to discern the trickier iron targets in the ground, like your larger iron or your circular iron or your iron with holes in it, because you're not actually hearing it. It will null it. But I'll come on to threshold. But anyway, that's your volume control there for your non-ferrous and your ferrous signals. If I change it to 5 tones just now, and go back to it, you'll notice the volume here is T1. I'll actually stick my backlight on so you can actually see it. I've got T1, but then I've got T2, I've got T3, T4, T5. Now this allows you to set the volume, individual volumes for specific target zones. So you've got your first one going from 2 to 10, then you've got 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. If you're in a field and you're not really after the super high conductors that are coming in